After years of struggling with himself over his desires, Andrew decides that he needs to explore his feminine side. He takes advantage of the fact that his housemate Erika is out of town and transforms himself into girly Andrea. Little does he suspect that Erika will meet Andrea. I took a deep breath before walking in the store. I could feel a void in my stomach as I walked in. Surely this is not the first time someone does this, I thought to myself. "Hello, sir, can I help you?" said the young girl at the counter. "Hi. Yes. I'm looking for a gift for my girlfriend," I said, repeating the lie that I practiced in front of the mirror at least a dozen times. "You see, I have no girlfriend, I never had one, but today I would pretend to have one so I can buy my first dress. Today was the day that I will start to explore my feminine side. For as long as I have remembered, I have always admired women's looks. I have always been awed by the flowy look of a skirt, the elegance of their high heels, how they could become fierce-looking or tender-looking by applying makeup. The older I got, the more hooked I was to female fashion. It was never a physical attraction to the fairer sex, like my classmates from high schools had, but a longing for making myself pretty. There was a yearning inside of me that I could never explain. Not that I have spoken about this with anybody, I always felt that everybody around me expected that I would be a manly man like my dad and my brothers. "What are you looking for?" The saleslady's words brought me out of my reverie. I'm looking for a pretty dress. Something silky. Great. Some new designs just for summer. Do you know what size your girlfriend is? I think she is XX. No problem, but do you have a picture, so I can help you? Sure I do. I fumbled a bit with my phone and provided a picture of Erika, my roommate. She was a big, pretty girl, just about my size, although she had big breasts and a smaller ass than mine. Yes, looks like XX all right, but you might want to buy a wraparound dress just to be sure. Please come this way. The salesgirl led me to the back of the store. I was a bit anxious as I was now surrounded by all manner of girly clothing. She stopped in one rack and pulled a couple of dresses. The lady asked if I was looking for a particular color. I just said that I would like something in fashion. She then gave me one with a flowery print of bright tones. The moment I felt the texture, I could feel goosebumps on my skin. Having an actual dress between my fingers was an arousal unlike anything I have ever felt. I just nodded to the vendor, saying that it was perfect and hoping that she had no suspicion of my ulterior motive. The girl just motioned for me to hand over the garment. She put it under her arm and asked if I would like some jewelry to go with it. I said yeah, why not, so we went back to the counter where she presented me with a necklace and a matching bracelet of yellow crystal beads. I was surprising to see how nice the necklace looked next to the dress. The girl then suggested some earrings. I declined because I was not about to pierce my ears. Without losing a beat, she then suggested a couple more of bracelets because she said it was the fashionable thing nowadays. 10 minutes later I was walking out of the store with the dress, some jewelry, a girly gift box to fit it all, and a lot less cash than I expected. But I didn't care. I was able to buy a dress, my first dress, and a very girly one. I was overwhelmed by how easy it all was. As I made my way to my car, I realized that shopgirls didn't care what you were buying as long as you spent the money. Excited by the thought, I rushed to the parking lot to put away my loot and walked back to the shopping center. My next stop was one of the cheap shoe stores. Not because it was cheap, but because it was almost empty of customers and personnel. I went through the aisles until I managed to find the big-sized shoes. I found a classic pair of high heels. Glazing left and right, I checked that no one was near, so I took one of my shoes off and quickly tested it. It fit perfectly. My heart was pumping with excitement. I took the box, some nylons, and paid without any comment to the cashier, who thankfully didn't say anything except parroting the shop's policy on returns if the heels didn't fit the gift recipient. One more trip to the car and was back at the back of the shopping center, the part where the kinky stores held their wares. Sure enough, there were a couple of sex shops where I got a nice bustier/corset, a set of panties with an opening in front, a nice redhead party wig and knee-sized false titties. For a moment, I thought I was ready to leave, but realized that I was missing a critical thing: makeup. As I walked to the car to drop more bags, I started to plot my next scene. I wasn't confident that I could pull that one without talking a bit. I decided to try my luck at one of those large retailers where they have very commercial brands of beauty supplies. I gestured to one of the oldest salespersons and explained that I was looking for a starter kit for my niece that was turning 14 next week. The sales lady didn't bat an eyelash at my crummy story, she just asked for my niece's skin tone. I just told her that she had a similar tone to me. She grabbed a box and started to put bottles and little cases. She will need primer, mascara, base color, maybe 2 lipsticks so she can have a choice, a set of eyeshadows, maybe 1 pen to highlight her eyes. My heart sank a bit as I started to worry about how much this was going to cost. But I was too deep to back now, so I just acted confused and asked if she could write that down. The woman just laughed and told me that my niece could find some good tutorials in TikTok. It was mid-evening as I left the shopping center. I was glad that I had taken the entire week off, because I will need plenty of time to work through all of my prizes. Thankfully, Erika was out of town until Thursday, so I had the apartment all to myself tonight. I made a mad dash from the parking lot to the door of my home on the 3rd floor. Since I took the stairs, I didn't run into any of my neighbors. I did run out of breath, but I couldn't stop. I just slammed the door and dropped my bags in front of the full-length mirror Erika had on the living room. Alexa, get the lights on and put on some girly music. Some sultry song from Dua Lipa started to play. Without realizing it, I started to move around like one of the backup dancers from the music video. All of my family would say that I looked silly in my boy clothes moving like that, so I just started to unbutton my dress shirt, take off my wife beater and then my shoes, my jeans and my boxer. As the song ended, I just looked at my naked self wondering what the hell I was about to do. Whatever shame I had evaporated the moment Girls Only Want to Have Fun started playing. I held my arms high and started dancing to the music. I then began to open the bags, and slipped into the panties, leaving my little dude by the opening they had on the front. I chuckled to myself thinking that my penis was facing the wrong direction. Next I took a very deep breath and started struggling with the corset. It was like those garments that show girls in the Western movies used to thin their waists. And boy, it did press hard against my tummy the moment I managed to put all of the locks in place. The corset had a bustier build-in it bustier, and it had a big gap that I proceeded to fill with the fake bobbies I got. Breasts now in place, I took the next bag and sat on the couch. I took a pair of black nylons and rolled them into my unshaven legs. Then I put on my new nude, 3-inch closed heels. With great effort and very little steps, I slowly walked to the mirror. The sensation of the nylons as my legs touched themselves was electric. My little guy stood at attention as I marveled at my reflection. From the waist down I looked so girly with my feet perched on the pretty shoes. I definitely had to work on the top part now, so I took the dress from the box and draped it around myself. It had a tiny belt-like strap that helped to tie it around my belly button. Next I went looking for the necklace and the bracelets. I fished the jewelry from the gift box. I was so nervous that I had a hard time closing the necklace strap. The bracelets were very easy, as they were just a stretchy string with bright yellow glass beads. My hands went immediately to my sides, sliding from my newly formed bosom, as my legs crossed themselves to get more of the nerve-pulsing feedback from the nylon. The sensation for the sleek silk and the tingling from the pantyhose were feelings so overwhelming that I had a hard time focusing myself to keep on getting ready. Walking with the tiniest of steps, I made it to the bathroom sink. On the way I collected the bags with makeup and a stool from the small bar we had in the living room. Propping my phone to the mirror wall, I sat crossing my legs this way and the other trying to pay attention to some of the GRWM videos that I had saved as favorites on Insta. With great hesitation, I rummaged through my makeup acquisitions and put everything on the sink. With even greater hesitation, I started to apply the cosmetics. Many classic songs went by as I completed my first attempt. Sure enough, it didn't look as pretty as what the girls on the videos did, but I didn't look as a total clown. Stealing some cleanup tissue from Erika's stash, I reset my face. I took a deep look at myself and wondered what to do differently. I was glad that I shaved today, because it would be weird to do it on a dress. That gave me an idea. Realizing that I needed a different type of advice, I went to YouTube to look for transgender makeup tips. After 2 or 3 videos, I was confident to try again. This time I used some techniques like contouring and shading to soften my features. It took far longer than my first attempt, but I did look prettier. I was beaming as I applied a pale pink lipstick to finish the look. There was only one item left in my shopping bags, the wig. It was in one of the discarded bags in the living room. Gingerly, I stood on my heels and took baby steps back to the large mirror, mesmerized by how my feet felt a bit numb in my new shoes. This get-up was getting me all kinds of new sensations: the restriction of the corset, the tightness of the nylons, the smooth feeling of silk. Everything was so alien, but so welcomed by my eager mind. I couldn't believe the good time I was having and wished I hadn't waited this long to make it come true. Trying my best to bend without falling down, I managed to collect the short wig. It was made of red hair in a bobble cut that went a little bit beneath my ears. Since I kept my real hair very short, I didn't have too much trouble putting it on and styling it with my bare hands. With great trepidation, I turned into the mirror and looked into the reflection of a beautiful girl in black nylons and a fancy flowery dress. I squeaked like a little girl as one of Adriana Grande's party anthems blared in the background. "Oh my God, I look so pretty," I said in my best attempt to sound girly. The music and the emotion took over me and I started to dance sexily in front of the mirror. I was so happy, because I felt that nobody would say that I looked ridiculous moving like this. I was sure that anybody would see anything but a girly girl having fun. I danced more songs, and then some more before realizing that I haven't eaten anything since breakfast. I went to the kitchen and without realizing I took one of Erika's silly aprons. This one was white, a bit puffy with lace lining. It looked more like part of a party costume of a French maid than an actual apron. It didn't matter because I was girly enough. As one of Cher's greatest hit medleys started to play on the speaker, I asked Alexa to up the volume and got lost singing as I was fixing myself a salad. I didn't hear the door opening, so I froze in place the moment I heard Erika. "Oh my! What lovely dove do we have in here?" "Erika, wait, I can explain it." "Andy, is that you?" "Holy moly! For a moment you fooled me." Erika laughed a little bit. "I always thought you were a bit girly, but never knew you had enough to go all the way." I probably look even more red than the tomato I was slicing as Erika stared at me. What are you doing back so soon?" "Customer cancelled while we were on the road, but hold a second, sister, don't change the subject." "Sister, you said?" "You need to work on the voice part, Andy," said Erika as she made her way into the kitchen. I tried to pull back, but my back hit one of the cabinets. Erika pulled me tenderly and motioned me to twirl. She then gave me a playful spanking on my ass. "Man, you look like a girl. I think I can enjoy this a bit. Since you have the apron on, why don't you give me a salad too, dear?" Not knowing what else to do, I gave a little nod and started to work on Erika's order as she made her way into the living room. My roommate took off her purse and placed it on the coffee table after pulling her cell phone. She then sat on the couch, taking her shoes off and putting her feet on the little table. I was mute as I prepared both our salads. I was scared about what could happen now. I haven't been this scared since my first time at high school many years ago, when the older boys made fun of my lanky frame. Erika was looking at her phone and laughing a little bit as I meekly approached with 2 salad bowls and sat across from her. I could hear some of tonight's music coming out of her phone as she kept laughing. "Oh, Andrew, this is so good. I can't believe it. You have some sexy dance moves, babe. What are you talking about? Oh, silly Andy, you forgot about the security camera? Erika said as she pointed to the other side of the room. I felt like fainting when Erika sat properly on the sofa and showed me the recording that she was seeing on her phone. As I jumped to my feet, my heels and my wig fell off. I ran to retrieve my phone from the bathroom. Don't bother to try, Andrew. I already copied the videos to my cloud. To be honest, I really like what I see. I could enjoy having a girl as a roommate. A cold shudder went through my back. Are you going to blackmail me, Erika? That sounds a bit harsh, Andy. I bet you would like to keep this a secret from your family and friends, so I guess we could work out some agreement that includes seeing Andrea every now and then? Who is Andrea? Erika laughed a bit more. Oh, silly girl. Andrea is your new persona. It would be a pity to hide this dancing queen from all the world. My stomach felt like a void. I could feel my makeup begin to run with the sweat forming across my face. Just one dress and now my world is upside down. Everything went a bit fuzzy. The last thing I remember was Erika grinning ear to ear as I fainted. My head hurt when I woke up. I had the weirdest of dreams. My roommate Erika was laughing at a video of me prancing around in a pretty dress. As I moved my manly arm to feel my head, I could see the same bracelet that I was wearing in the video. Startled, I half jumped out of bed. I could see the flowery fabric of the dress across my chest. I gave the girliest scream. Oh my god, Erika does have a video of myself fooling around in female clothes. I thought to myself. My blanket fell to the ground as I rushed out of bed. With trembling hands, I took off my girly attire, dress, necklace, bracelets, corset, and panties. Everything was lying on the floor, as my male frame shook from the realization of what happened yesterday. For a moment I couldn't believe that I actually dared to go out and get all dressed in womanly things. I had to smile at the fun I had as I danced around my home looking like a young lady, but that sense of happiness evaporated when I realized that Erika had all of it in video. Speaking of my roommate, where was she? Erika, Erika. Are you there? I bellowed. No reply came back. I shook my head, thinking that I was probably alone again. Good, I needed to gain my composure. First I need to take off the nylons and the makeup. I sat down on the bed and removed the panties. Then I took the blanket and wrapped it around my waist and ventured outside the room. First stop was the bathroom, where I used some of Erika's tissues to remove the makeup. I checked myself in the mirror and only my bored male face glazed back. Gone was the sparkle I had yesterday night once I had my getup complete. My growling stomach brought me out of my reflection. Realizing that I haven't eaten anything since yesterday's breakfast, I made my way into the kitchen. I checked on the fridge and the cabinets. Everything was empty. There was no food in the house. Damn, Erika. Annoyed, I decided to get dressed so I could go to the coffee shop across the street. It wasn't a place I liked, so I rarely ate there, but it seems that the occasion called for it. I opened my closet to find that all of my clothing was missing. What the blazes? There wasn't even a single boxer in any of my cabinets. Angry, I stormed into the living room looking for my mobile phone. I needed to tell that bitch of my roommate one or two things about respect. However, there was no sign of my phone, or my wallet for the matter. The only thing that I found was a note that Erika left on the table next to my keys and some bills. Dear Andrea. So sorry for giving such hard surprises on your first morning in our apartment. I had to take some extreme measurements so that Andy didn't show himself again so early. Feel free to use my wardrobe and my cosmetics to make yourself confident on going outside for a meal. It is okay to show the world this new face. Andrea, you did a very brave thing yesterday. So, I feel obligated to push you a little further. I think you can become a very happy young woman if you give yourself the chance to be it at least for one more day. PD, Andy my dear, you have been a good roommate and dare I say friend for a long time, however you are a gloomy young man. I had never seen you as excited as yesterday. I hope you will understand my reasons for taking away your male clothing and your phone. I promise to return them in time. Love, Erika. The letter left me speechless. Most people would be angry with Erika, but I couldn't. As mischievous as it was, she did this from a place of love. If she wanted to humiliate me, she could have done it with the video. Either way, I didn't have the time to ponder about this. I was too hungry to keep wasting time. It was time to get ready. With a little trepidation, I opened the door to Erika's room. Lo and behold, it was a girlish paradise. As the first occupant of the apartment, Erika had the biggest room. Its floor has a fuzzy hot pink carpet. She had a big bed filled with pillows and plushies. At the other end of the room was a large, bright pink beauty desk with a large mirror framed in lights. Dozens of bottles of cosmetics were carefully lined in its top. Next to the desk was an L-shaped closed. It went to the corner of the room, turned and extended right next to the doorway. Across were windows facing the street. Currently they were blocked by velvety curtains. On the desk there was a set of blank, silky panties, and a matching cup bra with another note, Andrea, these are brand new undergarments. Please use them today. Love, Erika. The panties looked small, but were made from a stretchy material. I had no trouble putting them on and fit my little friend below. He was not uncomfortable, but a little tight, as it was aroused by the foreign feeling of the fabric. Guess that I won't be able to wear anything too tight below the waist. I took the bra. It was made from the same material and had the same type of lace on the border of its C-cups. I put it across my flat chest and managed to clip it in my back, then I put its straps on top of my shoulders. Underwear ready, it was time to rummage on Erika's closet. The first door led to dozens of shoes. She had any style imaginable. I took a pair of block heel sandals. They were less than an inch high and were all around closed. Gingerly I put them on, expecting that they would not fit, but they barely did. The next door was filled with lots of sexy gowns. Some were probably pajamas and others were see-through fabrics. I got red-headed remembering all the times that Erika left the house wrapped in a raincoat late at night. I closed the door and moved into the next. Here, Erika stashed her jeans, shirts, shorts and socks, not many of them, and probably those bottoms wouldn't fit me well. I did take several socks to fill up my bra though. I also found some of her blouses. I chose a baby blue turtleneck blouse. It was good because it hid my shoulders and my arms in its long cotton sleeves. Finally I found where she kept her skirts. I opted to look for a long, pleated skirt, which would help to hide my lack of female features. The first one that I took, a black one that reached to my knees, didn't close on my waist. I did my best to return it to the rack. On a whim, I took a short, tight skirt. I fully knew that I shouldn't wear that, but it felt good to feel its stretchy fabric restrict my legs. I couldn't help but caress my butt and enjoy its slick texture. My little friend also got excited and tented the front of the skirt. Once more my face was burning crimson. I had to accept that it was so exciting to wear Erika's girly clothes. I realized that I needed a loose skirt. I started browsing through Erika's rack. Indeed, she had a large selection. I picked a longer, wider skirt on white. This one had a sort of rope where the belt would be. This allowed me to tie it across my bottom. The skirt itself was about 1 inch above my ankles, which was good. When I was about to close the wardrobe, I noticed that there were a couple of wigs on the top shelf. I snatched a brunette one. It was about 2 inches longer than what Erika used to wear. I was glad to find a more conservative hairset, as I felt that my red one I bought yesterday would call much more attention than I wanted today. It took a bit of struggle to set the wig in place. I looked at the mirror to see if it wasn't too disheveled. Thankfully, it didn't need much more than gentle brushing to get in place. However, the same couldn't be said about my face. It will need a bit of work to make it look female enough. I gasped as this will take more time and I kinda wanted to eat soon. Shaking my head, I sat down and began to work. First I took a bottle of concealer and used it to leverage my skin. Then I applied just a bit of a reddish powder to my cheeks, a little of a brownish metallic eyeshadow and some eyeliner to make my eyes appear less rounded. I finished with a pale pinkish lipstick. Smacking my lips, I threw a kiss at the young woman looking from the mirror and laughed a bit. I wondered if Erika would approve of my look. My cheeks felt a bit warm by thinking about Erika while sitting in her beauty desk in her clothing. Oh, how many times I had envied her. Now she was encouraging me to enjoy this experience for a second time. I truly was lucky to have her as a roommate. I was about to leave her room when I saw the perch with her purses. I realized that I would need one as I didn't have any pockets. I took a small clutch bag and made my way into the doorway. When I stood in front of the living room mirror, I couldn't help but pose a little bit, do a few turns to check myself and giggle a bit at how silly all of this was. As much as I wanted to deny it, wearing female clothing and using makeup made me happy. My uprising among two macho brothers and one stern dad tried to make me guilty of this simple pleasure, but I was too happy to care. This time around, I did remember the security camera on the other side of the room. So, I turned around and walked slowly and as sultry as I could to get close to it. I leaned a bit and blew a kiss into its lens, hoping that my roommate was seeing the recording. I laughed in my girliest giggle as I walked into the door, opened my purse and filled it with the apartment keys and the little money that Erika left me. Feeling ready, I opened the door, strode through it and closed it behind me. My confidence dropped the moment that the door clicked shut. What was I thinking? There is no way I could pass as a lady. Just one neighbor that recognized me and I was done for. I felt a bit of fear on my belly, but I also felt hungry and that won out, so I started to click my little heels onto the hallway as I made my way to the elevator on the corner. There was a clock on the far wall that read it was almost 10 a.m. That was good because it meant that most neighbors would be out working. I strode a little bit faster and took the lift to the bottom floor. I didn't run into anybody as I made my way to the front door. I did hesitate a bit before opening the gate and exiting in the street. Okay, Andy, everything is going to be okay. You just need to walk to the corner, order something and get back into the apartment. I said to myself. I had to take 3 deep breaths before I could get moving. To my surprise, nobody was staring at the freak in the skirt and the wig. Whatever few people were in the way, they kept to themselves. This gave me a bit of calm, and I tried to enjoy the cool, bright morning. I smiled a bit as I took little steps into the corner traffic light. I even managed to say good morning, albeit in a very low voice, to an older couple that were waiting for the light to change. Once the light turned red, we walked into the street proper. I could feel that at least one of the drivers was staring at my ass. The thought that my rear was attractive to a straight male made me beam in delight. A few more steps and I was in front of the cafeteria. The automatic door moved and I walked in, a little bit startled by how my heels echoed on the ceramic floor. To my nervous ears, that noise was a disturbance that would upset all the patrons inside. The noise was only apparent to me, as nobody bothered to look at me. Nevertheless, I took the closest table next to the door. I was very conscious of holding my skirt as I glided into a sitting position. The menu was on the table and I rushed to open it to cover my face. Good morning, lady. Would you like something to drink while you look at the menu? Said a young boy wearing an apron. I stammered a bit, but managed to say coffee. Seems like I said too low, because the boy asked me to repeat twice. He then went his way and I buried my face in the menu. I lowered the menu a bit, expecting once again to find the entire cafeteria staring at my table. Once again, every other customer was minding their own business. I breathed in relief and tried to enjoy the moment. Erika's blouse was a bit warm, but it did feel nice. Quite a contrast to what I was feeling in my bottom, as the skirt did let a bit of cold flow across my legs. I shook a bit in the chair, enjoying how the silky fabric of my panties rubbed my cheeks. The boy came with my coffee and asked if I was ready to order. I didn't dare speak again, so I lowered the menu and pointed at a picture of pancakes. He nodded in agreement and made his way into the kitchen. As I waited, I played a bit with the wig's hair, trying to put it back behind my ears. I was also distracted by the TV screen, which was playing old black and white movies. I loved how the leading ladies in those movies always looked flawless in their antique attires. I had always been fascinated by the look of classic beauties. The young waiter came back with my pancakes, and there were a couple of strawberries arranged as a heart across the top. I looked at the boy and smirked. He was the one to be shy this time around, as he covered his face with his notepad. He left my ticket on the table and went back into the kitchen. I ate the pancakes, wondering what to make about the strawberries. As I finished, I took a napkin. With a bit of letdown, I realized that I smeared most of my lipstick. Why didn't I bring the lipstick? Heck, I didn't even have a mirror to check myself. Hoping that I didn't mess up my look, I stood and made my way to the cashier. Without saying a word, I presented the ticket and a few bills into the cashier box. He was an older guy, with graying hair. I held my breath when the old man fixed his gaze on me. Dozens of embarrassing scenarios passed through my head in those seconds. But the cashier only gave me my change and said, "Thank you, madam. Hope you have a lovely day, young lady." Breathing again, I thanked him and walked out of the cafeteria. I was so glad to leave the place with no incidents. For a moment I wondered if I should dare to walk a bit more, but I thought that I shouldn't press my luck. Even if I wanted to rush back, I made my best effort at keeping a female gait. I tried to swivel a bit my hips with each step. At first it was stressful, but halfway I could feel some enjoyment as the skirt and the heels made every step different from what I used to do as a male. I would have loved to wear a tighter skirt and higher heels, just to maximize the feeling of walking like a lady. I could only wish that I would ever have a chance to try that. Soon enough, I was at my building. I made it into the elevator, where I ran into a neighbor. He was from a different floor, so we didn't know each other. Fortunately, he wasn't able to pierce through my costume. For a moment I was wondering if I was passing out as a girl. As in celebration, I did my girliest walking, kind of almost dancing as I glided from the elevator to my door, swiveling my behind as I gave tender steps with a reassuring click on the deck. Once again in the apartment, I stood in the middle of the living room thinking what I should do next. I was still on vacation from work, so I had the evening wide open. The sound of an unlocking door brought me out of my planning mood. I felt my back stiffen, as I tried to steel myself to whatever was going to happen. "Oh, my beautiful darling. So nice to see you here," said Erika as she entered the apartment. I felt a slight relief at hearing her voice, as some of our friends have copies of the door key. I held my position, frozen as a statue, with my hands clutching tightly my little purse. By the sound of it, Erika dropped several bags into the floor and I could hear the cute sound of her high heels as she walked around me, checking out my look. She then leaned into me and kissed me lightly on the cheek. "Relax, girl. This isn't an inspection." She then took off her coat, revealing her tiny, tight pink skirt that held her thick thighs and a sleeveless white shirt with ample cleavage. As Erika sat on the middle of the couch, she crossed her legs and spread her arms across the top of the couch. "Why are you here? You don't have to work today?" "Don't speak in your male voice, it breaks down the hard work you did pulling this girly image." I winced a bit at that comment, as Erika kept talking. "I called in sick. I just had to go shopping for my newest girlfriend. Please bring me the bag, sweetie." I turned and left my clutch purse on the table next to the door. I took shopping bags from the floor. Once again, I heard my heels clicking too loudly, but it was only my anxiety. Erika motioned for me to sit next to her. I did comply, being extra careful with my skirt. She then put one of her hands on my lap, saying that it was so cute how I held my skirt. She then took one of the bags and took out a gaff. I became red when I saw it. She said that it was okay. It wasn't anything kinky, just an accessory to make sure that I could wear something a little bit more tight. Erika then procured several more pieces of cross-dressing equipment, 2 pairs of different sized breast forms, a long raven black wig, some more gaffs, 2 corsets, one with waist padding. I didn't get your ass padding, as you have a very beautiful rear end of your own. It kind of makes me jealous, sister. I really didn't like where this was going. Erika was too invested in having me dress up as a girl. I jumped in front of her, as I had to stand up now. Erika, I'm not okay with you getting this stuff. What did I say about the voice? Look, I get you some CDs with audio training on how to sound more female. I shook my head and pounded with my heel. Erika, you are not listening. She stood and held my arms tenderly, looking me directly into the eye. Andy, you are not the one not listening. Haven't you realized that something beautiful awoke in you? I just want to nourish it. I was shaken to the core. I didn't realize such a thing. I thought it was just the excitement of going against normal society rules by dressing prettily. My feet were also trembling and I had to sit down. It was too much to process. I felt tears streaming out of my eyes. I tried to cover them with my fingers. Erika kneeled in front of me and took my hands in her own. Andrea, please give yourself this chance. You don't have to give Andy away, just let Andrea come out to play for a couple of days. You know that I always wanted to have a sister, even if it only every now and then. We both laughed at that, and I started crying, not in sadness but in joy. Erika embraced me tight and said that everything was going to be all right. She just said that I had to be careful when eating out, that I should carry on some makeup to fix things. Thank you, sis. That's good advice. I really want to learn all you can teach me about being a girl, I said, trying to sound as female as I could. You really need to get working on your voice, darling.